What is up, my butter biscuits? So in today's video, I have an update for you on my previous video of Jaclyn Hill. Within that video, I did say, I have a feeling that she's just looking to stir the pot because she's going to be coming out with some new things. And I was correct, y'all. So we will be discussing that in today's video. If you haven't seen that previous video, I'll go ahead and leave a card right up here so that way you guys can click the link and check it out there. There will be more details within that video because this is just the update. But before we get into that, I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for 100K. I am sitting here like I can't even believe it. It's taken me 5 years to get here. And y'all, I have a special video coming for that. Well, maybe not necessarily a dedicated video for it, but I'll intertwine it to another video when I'm going to be doing my 100K giveaway. You guys will see that within the next week. I actually just ordered all of the pallets that I will be giving away. I did already have 2 of them, but I will be giving away 5 pallets, which are like my favorite pallets. And I just want to give them away because I feel like it's a little bit special to me because they're my favorite pallets. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, though, that will be coming hopefully within the next week, depending upon when I get those pellets, because that's when I want to do the giveaway. So I just want to say thank you all so much for helping me reach this milestone. And I know to a lot of people, and I saw some people in the comments being a little shady, it's just 100K. But y'all, this has been such a long journey for me, and I've been on YouTube for 5 years, and yes, I know that I've took off like almost a whole like year and a half, but it's been such a long journey for me, and this is something that I've always wanted to do with my life, honestly, since I was 20, since YouTube came around. And it took me till I was like 25 years old to start my YouTube journey, but I'm so happy that I did, and I'm so happy that all of you guys have stayed with me for this long, and my channel is just growing and growing, and it's just such a good feeling. I don't know, I just feel so special today and just so happy, and I really appreciate y'all more than you ever know. Like, seriously, this means the world to me, and I appreciate y'all's support. So that's why I'm doing the giveaway, to give back to you. And hopefully one day, you know, maybe I'll be able to, like, rich enough to be able to give away a MacBook, because I see all these like big YouTubers giving away a MacBook and an iMac, and I would love to get to that point, but obviously I can't really afford that yet. But we will get there. But I will be giving away 5 of my favorite palettes, brand new, of course, not used. I mean, unless y'all want the used, not just played. But anyways, that will be coming in a separate video, hopefully within 1 week, maybe within 2 weeks, but it will be definitely coming soon. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. Like, seriously, it means the world to me, and I cannot believe that I finally got here, and I'm finally gonna be getting a plaque from YouTube, y'all. I have been wanting a plaque from YouTube for so long. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just want to hang it up in my room, because I just feel like, I don't know, it's a huge accomplishment to me, because it's like a milestone within my, social media career, and I'm just so appreciative of y'all, because I would not be here without you. So thank you all so much. So if y'all are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so that way you get notified when I upload a new video. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, because I would really appreciate that. And let's go ahead and get into the video. Y'all, I completely forgot to let y'all know in the beginning of the video, it is literally 118 degrees in the garage that I'm filming in. So if you see sweat running down my face, I'm sorry. I know it's nasty, but what can I do? I wanted to film this update. My arms right now, y'all see that? I am literally glistening, y'all. And yes, I'm still gonna keep the beanie on, because I know everyone always tells me, if it's 118 degrees, why do you wear the beanie? It catches my sweat. I don't have hair, I'm bald, so it just drips down my face. And y'all, I know it's so nasty, but this is why, like, even in public, like when I'll go out, like whether, I don't know, to the beach, to anywhere, and it's really hot, I'll wear a hat, like an actual like baseball hat, because it catches my sweat, because it's just so nasty being bald and it being hot, because the sweat just drips. And a normal person who has hair, it catches their sweat. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, yes, I know still people's foreheads and faces sweat, but a lot comes from the top. So anyways, for me, y'all, sorry, I just felt the need to explain myself, because I already feel like I look so glistening right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and do a little recap for you guys. So a couple days ago, Jaclyn actually tweeted out this tweet that said, damn, people really dragged me to filth when I had a scandal with my lipsticks, but are nowhere to be found when I'm unproblematic and doing well. I hope they enjoyed that paycheck they got from the views, though. And this to me was a whole big trip, if you guys watched my previous video, because I was like, girl, why are you saying this? You haven't come out with any products since February, so you're just kind of coming out of the blue with saying this tweet. And obviously a lot of people were putting it on Robbie DeChristie. Everyone was saying like, oh, this is to Robbie DeChristie, and I'm like, no, like it can't be, because if y'all saw that video, and if you guys saw Robbie DeChristie's video as well too, she did a positive review of Jaclyn Hill's highlighter collaboration. So I was like, no, it can't be her, although a lot of people are still saying it is her that she's referring to, which, if that's the case, what? Like, why are you bringing this up in September when your last launch was in February? It just doesn't make any sense. So anyways, I had my own little conspiracy theories on this, that I was like, oh, hold up, she's stirring the pot because she's going to be coming out with something to sell. Because y'all know I've said it time and time again that like the Kardashians are a perfect example. Jeffree Star is a perfect example of this. A lot of people, when they're coming out with something new, they want their name talked about. They want the headlines of drama channels or even, you know, media outlets, blog sites, things like this, because in return, it's going to get their product talked about. And I don't know if you guys remember this. Actually, another good example of this was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. This one made headlines because it was just so terrible. And y'all, I purchased that palette myself, and it was the worst palette I have ever purchased. I never had so many problems with the palette, literally. And come to find out, Norvina had said like a couple weeks later that it was the highest selling palette that they had to date. And I was just kind of like, what? How? Like, what? Everyone's giving this palette a negative review. There's literally thousands of negative reviews. And how is it the number one selling palette? Because a lot of people were obviously seeing the palette because so many people were talking about it. So y'all, it takes me back to the slogan that I learned when I was like 13. Any publicity is good publicity, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't really agree with. Because look, y'all, if I ever come out with something, I want it to be all positivity. I don't want my name talked about in a negative way just because I'm coming out with a product. You get what I'm saying? However, there are certain people like Jeffree Star who kind of always, you know, stirs the pot somewhere to get his name talked about so that way he can push his new, you know, collection. And look, I don't knock it because I'm saying, hey, whatever works. At the end of the day, it's up to the consumer to purchase the product or not. So I'm just saying, though, I felt like Jaclyn was doing this. I was like, she's doing this for a reason. But anyway, so this is another tweet that she had said. This is, like I said, a couple days ago. I'm just doing a little recap here for y'all. I'm not talking about the haters or the gossip channels. I know what to expect from them, and I am truly fine with it. I'm referring to my peers. Peers as in peers on the beach. My fellow influencers, those whom I support and ride for. I'm referring to this industry, and I'm reflecting on my ups and downs. So this was just like all out of nowhere, y'all. Like, we already know, we're like, what are you talking about, girl? You haven't come out with something in such a long time. Like, what? But my immediate reaction was the whole, you know, Jeffree Star model. Let me stir the pot. That way people, you know, start talking about me, and then I start selling out of my collaborations and stuff. Well, if y'all watched my first video that I did post on Friday, that's when I was like, she's going to sell something. Come to find out, she definitely is. So she posted this picture actually on Twitter, and she said, your girl is 30, flirty, and thriving, which is from 13 Going on 30, which, by the way, I was in 13 Going on 30. Ironically enough, I played a bully. I played a bully in that movie. I was on set for like a week. It was actually pretty cool. But anyways, totally off topic. I say ironically because I'm the furthest thing from a bully, but because I was 13 years old at the time, and I was so big. Like, legit, I was like almost 6 feet when I was 13. So they just casted me as the bully. Anyways, totally off topic. So she drops this picture. She looks absolutely gorgeous. We already know this. Jaclyn is so beautiful. So many people like to hate on her for her looks, and I never understood that because I look at her and I'm like, she's gorgeous. Like, so gorgeous, and her eyes so stunning, just so beautiful, right? So somebody goes and puts on here, and I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity for her to say this. Somebody says, drop the lip combo now. I want a glossy blush tone color for the lips. And then she writes back to that, I can't tell you quite yet. So many products on my face are lab samples from stuff I'm working on. So this is kind of like her way of saying, oh, I'm coming out with new things, you know, which ironically enough, the day before, she's over here obviously stirring the pot to get people to talk about her. She posts this picture, and obviously she's wearing all these like new products that she's going to be coming out with for Jaclyn Cosmetics, right? Go figure. But like, we already knew what was up. Like, we knew that she was going to be coming out with something, because how are you just going to come out of the blue with stirring the pot of this drama that is so irrelevant? But anyways, to each their own. Do what you think is best, right? So then she also tweets out this. She says, you guys, I am working on so many products for next year. I can't even contain my excitement. COVID pushed back and messed up a S-ton for Jaclyn this year. But baby, we will be back strong. I can't wait for you to see everything. So it's obviously like, go figure, girl. We already knew that you were going to be coming out with a lot of things because, you know, you got to maintain your relevancy, I guess. And she's just kind of like, you know what, let me get people talking about me, because it really does work, you know. I think that it's kind of like it just shows society, you know, us as a society, and I'm putting myself within this, we all pay attention more to the negative than to the positive. So when anybody stirs the pot, more people talk about it rather than when somebody does something good. You get me? But that says where we all are, you know, in society, which I think kind of sucks. But anyway, she also took to her Instagram stories, and y'all, she was out here pushing her Jaclyn / Morphe collaborations because they're having a sale for Labor Day weekend. And I'm just over here kind of like, Girl, I knew it. I knew it. Because obviously everyone's going to check her stories right now because she's obviously in the drama, you know, on the blog sites and stuff right now. And they're going to go check on her story. And then, bam, they're going to see her collaboration with Morphe. So I'm going to go ahead and play this story for you guys so that way you guys can check it out for yourself.
You guys, for Labor Day weekend, this weekend only, Morphe has my original Jaclyn Hill palette on sale for only $28. Let me show you guys this palette for those of you who don't own it. It is the best palette in the entire world, in my humble opinion. Oh, hey, babe. I took off the filter so you can see her in all of her glory. You guys, I don't even know how to do my makeup without this palette. I'm not kidding. Like, these first two rows right here, every day, all day, 24/7. Buns right there, can't live without it. Chip, can't live without it. Right here, Soda Pop, that dark purple, can't live without it. Central Park, can't live without it. I am obsessed, you guys. It's on sale for $28 today. So pigmented, so blendable, and so beautiful. A classic. The original Jaclyn Hill palette is actually what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I also have Ring the Alarm, which is another collaboration that I have with Morphe. It's a 10-pan palette. I have that mixed in as well. I cannot live without either of these palettes. My original Ring the Alarm, I use them both every single time. And then there's two shades that I dip into in my volume 2 palette that I use every time. I need to get them in singles because I use them every time I do my makeup. Yeah, so I use it just to create like this super easy all matte look. And then I just put on some quick liner and lashes. But this guy right here, if you don't have it, this is like the most necessary palette in the entire world. I'm not trying to sell it to you. Those of you who own it, you know. It's not only a makeup artist essential, but like it's an everyday essential. It's just such a good palette. And it's so pigmented and so blendable. And it's $28 this weekend. So there you go. Okay, so inside of my volume 2 palette, because I have two of them. So there's my original right here, and then my volume 2. So original, and then the sexy older sister. I mean, like, look at how beautiful they are together. Oh, so gorgeous. Anyways, the two shades from this palette that I can't live without is the first one, Certified. It is like the most beautiful, just matte, neutral white. I put that all over my inner corner, my lid, and my brow all the time. And the second one is G. I use this constantly because it's such a beautiful pigmented warm brown. I also dab into Love Handles quite often. Comfort Zone, Feeling Myself, and Homebody, like those four right there, just because they're so great to blend on the lower lash line and of course in the upper crease. But those are the shades that I use constantly in this palette. So that shade Certified is actually what I have in my inner corner right now, and then super lightly dusted, just like in here, up onto my lid. It is a crazy pigmented color. Like if I swatch it for you guys, you can see, and I don't need all of that. So I just use like a really light fluffy brush just to really like open up the eyes, make them look a little bit bigger and more like, who, me? There's also a super awesome sale happening in Canada right now at Sephora with all my products as well, because Morphe is sold in Sephora Canada. So for all my Canadian followers, you can check that out. I did post it earlier this morning, like a little like blip on the screen for you guys. Like of my stuff is on sale over there for you guys. But yeah, go check it out, guys, and happy Labor Day weekend.
All right, y'all. So y'all saw it right there. And look, if you guys watch my videos, y'all know I normally take everything for face value. I don't nitpick at what people say. I take people for their word, even if they are liars. I just, you know, take things for face value. That's who I am. However, I have to say, me being a makeup artist and working within the makeup industry for almost 13 years now, she's over here saying that she uses this color and this color and this color and this color every single day, right? And she's saying that she's using all those colors at her eyeshadow right now. And I'm like, well, girl, your eyeshadow look right now literally has 3 eyeshadows to it. So what are you talking about that you use every single one? I feel like she comes across as like overselling. I feel like she's like a used car salesman who knows that that car is really not the best car, but I'm gonna say any and everything to get that sell done. And I'm just kind of like, girl, you don't need to do that. The palette is gorgeous. The palette is beautiful. There was no problems with that palette. A lot of people actually left really amazing reviews about that palette. So I don't know, she just comes across like she's just overselling, and that could totally be me. Honestly, it could just be my perception of her, but I just feel like, girl, looking at your eyeshadow look, you're saying that you're using like 8 eyeshadows, and it's like, girl, let's keep it real. The eyeshadow look that you're doing could really be done with 3 eyeshadows. So, you know, that's where I look at it and I'm like, come on, girl. Your eyeshadow looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful. You look beautiful. But you don't need to say that you used 15 eyeshadows from 2 different palettes. to create that look, and it's your everyday. You know what I'm saying? It just comes across as too much to me. But like I said before, at the end of the day, it's up to the consumer to purchase the product. And I will say those palettes are gorgeous. I said that since day one. The first one's gorgeous. The second one's gorgeous. And I think that the products were good. There was no negative reviews. I personally didn't purchase them just because I'm not really, you know, like the biggest Jaclyn supporter. I would purchase some of her products though, because honestly, I don't dislike her. You know, I'm pretty sure y'all already know this by now. That I don't know, I'm just very mutual with everybody. I'm just down the middle. There's no one that I'm like extremely in love with, and there's nobody that I hate. So I'm just in the middle. But anyways, y'all, I just thought it was really, really ironic that she's out here stirring the pot to push products. Which I guess this is just the new way to go about things. But like I said, it just shows, it's very reflective of society. Like honestly, y'all, when I create the most dramatic thumbnails and the most dramatic titles on my video, those are the ones that get the most views. Those are the ones that get the most traction. So it just, I don't know, it's kind of sad to see, you know, that that's just the way society is. And I understand that I could be the change to that and start putting positive titles on things, but I gotta go with what society likes. I'm over here using an excuse. Anyways, y'all, let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything, and I'll catch y'all on my next video. Peace out, Girl Scout.